first thing you have to understand about even North Carolina barbecue, it is a noun and not a verb.
A lot of people think barbecue is what you do in your backyard on a grill. And I don't think they understand the time preparation. The meal that they're eating is probably taking 12 to 14 hours to cook.
We think that real barbecue is cooked with wood. Of course, it's hard to do, and people are looking for easier ways.
We haven't changed a whole lot. Maybe I'm outdated, but I like to be outdated. I wait for the circle to come back around to me.
But I think the main thing about barbecue is cooking it long and slow over wood coals and serving it fresh.
We just started demolition on the building. So I came in one Saturday just to take a look to see how far they were. It was like day 3 or 4. One of the walls stayed taken down, the sheetrock wall in the conference room. When I took a look at that, I was thinking I could see the firebox, I could see where the coals went in, I could see the barbecue pits themselves, but I wasn't sure because nobody ever told us that. So a friend of mine, Cecil Conrad, who runs the barbecue center, I called him.
I'd always heard about Beck's Barbecue. It closed while I was very young, and once we walked in, we could see the makings or the outlines of an original restaurant. As we inspected a little closer, we had a better look at what were the original pits of Beck's Barbecue.
From that point on, we really kind of started trying to piece together all the way back to Beck's Barbecue and the fact that these were probably the first brick and mortar pits in Lexington in a building.
The feeling was pretty incredible. We were able to see an early piece of Lexington history almost the way it was 40 years ago.
In the 20s, Mr. Swicegood and Mr. Weaver had these rudimentary tent-like things. These two gentlemen going into the barbecue business was a reaction to the crowd that came to town on court day. And actually, they were only a half a block away. I mean, the smoke was blowing up there all day, and it would be like having a booth at the fair. You know, you got a lot of people, and you know, you just go out there and have something that you can sell to them. It was fast food.
It was.
You could serve it in seconds.
You could turn that seat over quick too. So you could have a small restaurant, turn your seats over quick.
A lot of out-of-town business were salesmen. They would be coming through, you know, you had to go right down Main Street. That was 29, you know, and the smoke was blowing across the town, and so they just made an effort to have lunch in Lexington, and the only thing you could eat was barbecue.
The advertisement was there. Once you got a clientele that knew their barbecue, they would advertise for you, and then they'd come back and they'd demand the good barbecue. You had to do a good job because they demanded it.
I think the real essence of barbecue is the grease drops down on the coals and makes smoke, and that smoke, you know, hour after hour, it's just like a grill. I mean, what's the difference between a grill and a flat top? You know, it makes smoke from the grease.
The texture of it when you get through with it, anybody can put it on the pit and cook it so long, and it will get done eventually. But having the right texture, I can look at a shoulder, and I'm bragging now, but I can look at the shoulder and tell you if it's got the right texture, if it's been cooked properly. And then when the coals build up in there, you can cook better, see? You got a bed of coals or ashes in there. They're like insulation.
Once the coals were ready, a shovel would be used. They would scoop the coals out from in here, walk them across the broken tile floor, and spread them out evenly under the shoulders where they would smoke for the next hour, and then they would repeat this process every 45 minutes to an hour. Up here, you would have seen a metal door that would have closed in and stayed closed except when you were turning the shoulders or putting the meat on or off the pit. The doors would allow the smoke to stay inside the pit and not run out into the restaurant and just keep smoking over the course of the 8 or 9 hours you're cooking. Okay, now we're standing actually inside the pit, something that normally wouldn't have been done while shoulders were cooking, but what you can see is the original brick. They would have been red, they've since been painted over, but they were produced locally in Davidson County at the Cunningham Brick Factory in Thomasville, North Carolina. You can see the metal lintel here that held up the top part of the wall above the opening for the pit doors. And you can see the metal of the lintel and contrast it with the grease from the restaurant that probably dates back at least 40 years.
And for this community, which started kind of integrating food and the families together with barbecue, I think it's a tradition that carries on, and you see in a lot of the restaurants that we have here, families gathering from all over, meeting for dinners, meeting for lunch, having ball games, and it kind of carries on, and it's in a sense moved from the dining room table to the restaurant table, but you still have the same feel as if you were at your dining room table.